Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson, and it is Tummy Tuesday. So we're talking about stuff that can, help fix your tummy. So if you guys are following along in the community page, I asked on a poll who eats fermented food. And I was really surprised that only probably less than about 60% of you guys are eating fermented food. And if you are wanting to put really good probiotics into your body and really help your gut health, fermented food is 100% the way to go. It is the original food of how we had to preserve our food back in the day. So it actually is what our bodies are used to. So we are going to talk about a fermented food, which is sauerkraut. And it is a fermented cabbage, really easy to make. I bought this one because it's Passover, and so I wanted a Passover one. But all you do is just ferment it in some salt. And then it makes its own brine, makes its own juices, and you let it sit out in the pantry and you let it ferment. And then when you're ready to put it in the refrigerator, put it in the refrigerator once it's completely fermented. So it's a way that people have been preserving cabbage for years and years and years. But most people don't know what to do with sauerkraut because, it tastes like sauerkraut. Nobody just wants to open up a jar of sauerkraut, get a fork, and just go in there at it. That's not dinner. So I'm going to talk to you guys, one, about the health benefits of sauerkraut, and also the health benefits of something I'm going to pair it with that you may be surprised that I'm going to be pairing my sauerkraut with, or you might not be. We'll see. Okay, so sauerkraut has amazing health benefits. Not only is it a really good probiotic, so it can really work to really break up a lot of the things that are clogging your villi in your GI tract, in your intestines. When I say villi, there are little finger type thingies, if you could imagine, that are in your intestines. That's where your food flows through, and it absorbs all of the nutrients in your food, and that's how you get feeling of sensation of being full and not hungry anymore. So it helps you regulate your weight, and it also helps bring in all of the vitamins that you get from your food, all the vitamins and mineral. Most people that have digestion issues, their villas are like this instead of being like this, so they're clogged. Well, probiotics go in and help unclog them, so then they're like this and they can do their job. Sauerkraut is one of those things where you can get a lot of good healthy probiotics from, because there is good bacteria in here, packed with good bacteria, actually. So eating fermented food is going to really help you with improving your digestion. Sauerkraut itself is going to help you with maintaining vitamin K in your body and absorbing vitamin K. And then also it's going to help with just your overall immune system, because if your body is able to absorb all of those good nutrients, then it's going to be a lot healthier, so then your overall immune system is going to be strong and in good working condition. Now, to get this to taste like an amazing meal instead of just sauerkraut out of a jar, I'm going to add a couple ingredients. I am going to first saute some onions and this chicken sausage. You can use pork, you can use chicken, you can use turkey. Since we are being kosher right now, or I'm trying to be kosher right now, I am using chicken. And so the secret ingredient to this meal is going to actually be another fermented thing, which is beer. So beer actually has some good health benefits to it. Not if you drink the whole 6-pack in one setting, because any abundance of a good thing can be a bad thing. But beer itself can help maintain your blood flow in your body. It can also help decrease inflammation in your gut. So then therefore it is helping you a lot to be able to not have bulging stomachs and be really inflamed. And it can also remove dandruff from your hair. Just a random fact. So let's talk about a recipe that you can put together and it can make this wonderful sauerkraut that does all these good things to your body really tasty. Alright guys, so this is a really easy meal to make. All it involves are onions, which I have pre-sliced onions. If you guys have watched some of my cooking and haul videos, you'll know that I pre-do a lot of things in my home just because it helps me to get stuff done a lot quicker. So we're going to take some onions and we're going to saute them in some oil. So I'm just going to use a little bit of oil. I'm using vegetable oil just because it doesn't have a lot of flavor to it. So you don't want something that's going to have an olive oil or sunflower oil that has too much flavor. So anything that's a mild oil. And then I'm just going to take about half an onion and put in here and let it kind of melt and saute. And while that is doing its thing, I am going to cut up the sausage. Now, when it comes to any type of sausage that you're putting into it, I always use, I'm using an Italian sausage, so I always use a flavored sausage, just of the flavor that you like with a spice that you like. The only seasoning that you're going to be using in this is black pepper. And black pepper has a whole host of health benefits on its own, but that is the only thing you're going to use. You're not going to even need salt because this is preserved in salt, or salt water, so you don't need to add any additional salt. Now, the one thing you want to make sure that you do is you keep this cooking on a low temperature, because what you don't want to do is kill all the amazing good bacteria that is in your sauerkraut and also in your beer when you go to add your beer. So I'm going to saute the onions down to where they're almost translucent, and then I just chopped up the sausage into little bite sizes, and I'm going to add that in there, and I'm going to cook that until it's fully done. Because once you add the sausage and the beer, you just need to kind of basically warm it up a little bit so it's not cold. You don't really necessarily need to cook it. You can let it cook for, depending on if you're serving it to somebody that doesn't like alcohol. You can also use non-alcoholic beer too as well, but you can cook down the alcohol that's in there by just letting it boil on a low boil. But the first thing I want to do is get the onions very translucent, so where when I'm biting into it, I'm not chomping into a raw onion. So I'm going to bring this closer so that you guys can see kind of what it's looking like in here. So I have a little bit of sear at the bottom. I walked away from it, guys. But as you can see, my onions are getting really translucent. I don't want to add any more oil to it because I'm getting ready to add the sauerkraut. But my onions are translucent and my sausage is a little bit browned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the temperature. So once my temperature is a little bit lower, then I'm just going to add the sauerkraut. Now I like to add the water that's in there too as well, just because it makes it to where you don't have to add any salt or anything like that to the dish. But you can drain it if you don't have a good sauerkraut. Sometimes it could be too salty. So I drain it that way, if it's a can one. But usually if it's in the jar, it tastes better. I don't know if it's just me, but it tastes better when it's in the jar. So I'm just going to try and get this all out of here, which it wants to be stuck. And then I'm going to let this start to warm up. And once it starts to warm up, I'd say probably for about 5 minutes, I'm going to add my beer and then also my pepper. Got all that done. And I'm just going to stir it on in here and let it start to warm up and do its thing. Now, while it's warming up, I'm going to put the lid over it, and I have it on a really low heat. Because if you really want to be precise about it, you don't want it to go over 150 degrees, I believe it is. So if you want to put a little thermometer in it, you can. I've been making this for a long time, so I kind of know. So I just kind of go with it. But you can do that. So I'm going to let this have a little bit of time to just kind of warm up, and then I'm going to add the beer to it. Put a lid on it. Alright guys, so it's been about 5 minutes, and all I'm looking for is just a little bit of steam that comes off of it. I don't want it to be like boiling or anything like that. I just want to, when I remove the lid and move it around, I just want there to be a little bit of steam. Now I'm going to take my beer, bottle opener, and I'm going to add about a half a bottle of beer. You can add just as much or as little as you want. It kind of helps, takes down a little bit of the sourness and gives it a little bit of a different flavor, but it's not something that you need to add the whole thing with. You only need about, I'd say, a fourth. Actually, I've only added about that much, and that's enough. So you only need enough of it to kind of give it a different flavor, but you don't want it to taste like a beer soup. But you do want it to have that nice flavor. Now, I'm not using like a Coors Light or something like that. Like, I'm using like a good fermented beer. Something that has like either a Hefeweizen or IPA or something like that, that has a lot of flavor to it. And you can really taste that hops in there. Now, the other thing I'm gonna do is start to add the pepper. Now, what's nice about having the sausage is that the flavors of the sausage are going to be adding more flavors to it. So if you get a sausage that has like some Italian seasonings in it or different things like that, like this one had a lot of little herbs in it, it makes it really good. Now the pepper is going to be your taste. I sprinkle pepper in there because I like mine a little bit peppery, but it really is going to be how you like it to be flavored. So if you like a lot of pepper, pile it on in there. If you don't, then don't sprinkle that much in there. But either way it goes, add your pepper just because you want to have those health benefits of the pepper too. So I am going to let this cook now for 15 minutes and then it'll be done. Alright guys, so now it's all done and it is a nice bowl of yumminess. Try it. It's a little steamy. That is so perfect. So perfect. Now that I got it all down. So adding the beer and adding the sausage and the pepper really help kind of take the sour punch out of the sauerkraut. You still taste the sauerkraut, but it's not as like pungent as if you were just to eat it out of the jar. So it really helps to be able to eat a lot of it, to be able to get all of those good probiotics down into your body. So I hope that this was something new for you guys. I hope that for you guys that have never tried a fermented food, try some. Eat some pickles, eat some fermented pickles, which are like usually refrigerated pickles, or like some pickled okra, different things like that, or my personal favorite, which is sauerkraut. This is perfect to kind of help soothe your stomach if you're having like, you know, just stomach aches from heavy meals, maybe traveling, maybe eating a lot of preservative foods. This will really, really help to get in there and just add those good probiotics and good bacteria to get your body flowing the way that it should be flowing. So until next time, grow yourselves a garden, because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. And I hope this Tummy Tuesday helped. Bye guys.